Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're Avery Street Design Studio. And this is our beautiful granddaughter, Maddie. Say hi, Maddie.
Hi.
She's going to be with us today. So today is going to be all about shelves.
Yep.
Shelves that always are in style, that are our best sellers, that you can keep listed on Etsy or sell year-round, wherever.
These are non-holiday themed, so like she said, they're good all year round, and these are things that we've built and sold and found that they do really well, so this is a good thing to add to your store. And
you can finish them in a bunch of different ways, so that part's up to you.
You can take the basic design and make it however you want, change the size, change the style, change the color. It's up to you. So, and be sure to stick around. At the end of the video, we're going to give you the prices that we would charge, as well as the finished video or finished pictures of the product. So, yep.
So stick with us.
Let's get started. So for our first project is my gift to you. This is one of our very most popular
best
sellers. Yeah, we build these every single day. They never get old. They never run out of popularity. These are the two-piece floating shelves. They are extremely simple to make. The mounting process is extremely easy. Very little wood, very little cost in these. So I figured everybody could use a little help right now, and this is me helping you. So.
Oh yeah, they're so cute. I have some in my entryway, above my entryway table. They're made exactly like this. They are sturdy. They've stayed on the wall.
Yep.
And these things sell great. And the thing about them is you can make them, paint them in any color. You can stain them any color. You can distress them. Like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, and you can make them any size you want, from really small to really long.
Yep. Even you know, depth wise, you can make them to however you want to make them. You can even router the edges, make them a little fancy. Just a bunch of possibilities.
And these are one of the few things we build that we're not going to make out of pallet wood because it's not economical. It doesn't make sense. So these are just made out of cut down 2x8s. We just shave a little bit off to make it flat on the back, give it a straight edge. So they're easy to make, and I'm excited to show you guys how we do it.
So let's get started on those.
Yep. We're going to start out by cutting a couple pieces of 2x8s to 16 inches. So like I said, these we're gonna trim them down to 6 3/4 inches. Basically just going to take a little slice off the end so we can make this a straight edge. So you can see the keyhole shaped slot the router makes, and I try to leave about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little more, on each side of the shelf so I don't run through the face of it. This is about 1/2 inch deep. There's gonna be a screw and an anchor we use to hang these. That gives the screw plenty to hang on to, with that bit of thickness of wood. So this is the easiest project I'm ever going to show you. And when I'm doing this, do it without the router on so you can see. I'm always lining up my little fence to the edge of the board, and I'm dipping the bit in real carefully while holding it against this edge and just slowly moving it back towards me to make that little groove, and then slowly taking it out, pulling it straight up. Because if you're not careful, you'll ruin this slot and you won't be able to use it as a shelf. So that's all there is to the building part of these. Now we're going to sand them, and I'm going to stain this pair, but of course you can do any color, any stain, any paint, any glaze, or whatever effect you want on them. That part is up to you. We're going to sand these and we're going to stain them, and I'm going to show you how they hang on the wall.
Our next project will be building a hexagon shelf. We sell these also. They're very popular. You can make them in different sizes. You know, big hexagon, little hexagon. You can either, I've even seen them with small hexagons, and then they're all like put together.
Beehive together.
Like a beehive. Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah, these we're going to make out of scraps. These are cutoffs that we have from the unused wood from the clocks we make.
Yeah.
You can make them out of anything you want, any kind of wood you want. These are going to be cedar. And sometimes they are sold in sets. We're just going to build one, and you can go from there on that design however you want to package them up. But
shelves are hot sellers.
Yeah.
People always buy shelves.
So they don't ever go out of style.
No, so these, once again, you can finish them however you want, paint them, stain them, whatever.
Yep.
Even bare wood, just seal it.
Yep.
They look great.
Yep.
So let's get started on that one.
Right. I set my saw to 30 degrees, and I'm going to cut these pieces at 8.5 inches. When it's all put together, that'll make for a 14.5 inch hexagon shelf. So we've cut the pickets at 30 degrees each way, and then we're just going to glue them and nail them together. Can you see this? Now we've got it glued up. We just need the glue to dry. We'll do a little sand on it. Done.
All right. Come on, Riley. Come on. We take the dogs out to potty every little bit and take a break and enjoy the nice weather.
So the next project we're going to do are these framed shelves. They're square or rectangle frame.
Look like a picture frame.
Right, with a middle shelf. Here's our inspiration. I'll show you a picture.
I've been seeing these a lot. I've been seeing them on Pinterest, Etsy.
Mhm.
They're super popular right now. It's kind of a new trend that's taking off.
Right.
And they're really cute.
Yeah, the ones I've seen are built a little bit different. We're going to do a different method. They seem a little more sturdy the way we're going to do them. Also out of pallet wood. Once again, you can use whatever you want. If you want to buy wood, buy wood. These are just economical ways for you to produce products, and pallets are free. So
yeah. So this whole video is dedicated to shelves because those never go out of style.
Yeah.
Always sell
year round.
And once again, this framed shelf also, there's like a ton of ways you can finish them. They're just really cute.
Yeah, and we built two, but I'm just going to show you one hanging on the wall in the end. I don't know if they come in pairs or whatever when they're bought, but
well, that's up to the seller.
Yeah.
However you guys want to package them.
these are very popular, and they would be a good idea if you're looking to expand your products.
Yeah.
So let's get started on those. Let's start by milling a bunch of pallet wood and running them through the joiner so I can glue up some shelves for these. You don't have to use pallet wood, like I said, but this is what we like to use, and it's great to show you what old nasty wood can turn into. Before we glue, I always like to lay some freezer paper down to cover up my table. It's a beat up old table, but it's beat up without a bunch of glue all over it. So freezer paper is cheap and it protects everything, and the glue doesn't really stick to it. So I shared this tip with you in one of our last videos, and I'm giving it to you again.
So we're gluing up some small boards for the shelf part of these. So now he's ripping down some pallet runners for the frame of the shelves. These parts measure 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches.
So now we're assembling the frames of these shelves. The overall dimensions are 13 by 18. Gluing them up would be fine, but I always put a finish nail in to hold the frames together while the glue dries. And you can just fill the holes at the end when you're done with all that. Now the glue is dried on the pieces we glued up a little while ago. We're going to cut these down to 4.5 wide, and then we're going to trim them down to fit inside the frames.
So now he's cutting down the boards that he glued together. They measure out 4.5 by 10.25.
Now we will install the little cross piece that will support the shelf. We'll put it in with some glue and some finish nails. And then we will nail the shelf itself onto the little cross piece, and that'll complete the shelf.
Okay, on the next item, this is a new kind of shelf I've seen that I really like, and I've been seeing these a lot lately too. It's a 3-tiered shelf. It's got a basic frame that's kind of like this that comes out, and then 3 shelves across. Here's
our inspiration. We've been seeing these on several different websites. The ones that we look at the most, these are up and coming as popular shelves, and they're really easy to make.
That's how we find things that I look around on. I always look on Pinterest. I Google trending decor. I look on Wayfair, all the sites, Etsy, and stuff you see repeated a lot is what's popular and what's selling. So.
And these seem to be a newer thing, so this would be a good time to jump in with these because there's not a ton on the market, but they are selling.
Yes.
The ones that are listed are doing really well, so another good idea here. So
let's get started on that one.
We'll start by cutting up some 2x4s for the frames. The measurements of the frame material is 1.5 by 2.5 inches. We're going to start assembling the frames of these shelves the same way we did with the last ones. We're going to use glue on the small pieces and finish nails to hold it together while the glue dries. The final dimensions of each one of these rectangles is 30 inches tall by 11 inches deep. Now we're going to mill some more pallet wood for the shelves of this piece. We need 3 separate shelves, and they're going to be pretty long, so we're going to glue those up now. Now that the glue's dry, we're going to cut these shelves down to 9 inches wide. Once we're done ripping them down to 9 inches wide, we're going to take them to the miter saw and trim them down to 32 inches. Now we're going to install 3 cross pieces in each one of these shelf frames to support the shelves themselves. The math was kind of tricky on these. You just need to space them evenly apart so they look right. We ended up putting one 2.5 inches from the top and the bottom, and then 10 inches from each one of those in the middle. I did it the same way as I did all the other frames. I just glued each end of the small piece and put some finish nails in to hold it in place while the glue dries. You'd be surprised how strong these finish nails are when you glue something together. We'll just get this last piece put in and these things will be ready to finish. I really like the way these shelves look. They're very cool. They go with pretty much any decorating style, so these should be a big seller if you decide to sell them. we just give everything a quick sand and get it all ready to paint and stain. I tell you, with these pieces of pallet wood, if you fill all the nails and get it sanded real good, you wouldn't be able to tell at all this is used wood. This is really nice wood once it's all cleaned up. It'll save you a ton of money if you decide. Pallet wood is the difference between a pretty good profit on these projects and very little profit at all, because these aren't really expensive projects to begin with. And if you add in the cost of wood and everything else, that'll just take your profit way down to nothing. So I would advise, look into using pallet wood. I know it may be a pain to break it down, but honestly, it's worth it in the long run. Until it becomes a problem to where you can't keep up with breaking it all down, I would honestly look into it. So we've got everything sanded, ready for finish. We're going to do stain on some of the shelves and stain and paint on the other stuff. Everything's going to be golden oak because that's what we have on hand, and it's a nice looking color. So I'm going to start with that, and then we'll get to the paint here shortly. On all of our stuff, we usually do a stain and lacquer finish. It's super easy to do. A lot of people don't want to mess with lacquer because it stinks and it's kind of expensive. If you don't want to use lacquer, you can always use polyurethane or some kind of varnish. A lot of that stuff is really expensive too, but the water-based stuff dries really fast and you can handle it quickly. So that's an option if you're looking for what finish to use. So these, we're just going to stain the shelf and we're going to paint the frame black. You can either stain it before you put it together or stain it and tape it off. That's what we're going to do. Either way is fine. If you do it this way, you have a chance to fill the nail holes. And if you do it separate, you'll have nail holes you'll have to bother with. So and then the last ones we have to do are these long boards for the other shelf. We're going to do these golden oak and the frame's black on them also. Now we're going to move on to the black paint for the shelf frames. Once again, I'm just using really cheap spray paint, black spray paint, flat black spray paint, I should say. It'll be a nice contrast between the stain and the black color. Now that the stain is dry on the frame shelf, we're gonna go ahead and tape off this little shelf. Ideally, after stain dries, you want to seal it with something. We use lacquer and lacquer sealer, but not everybody wants to do that. So any kind of polyurethane, whether it be water-based or oil-based, will work. Just make sure it's dry before you start putting tape on it. Now we're going to put the hangers on these frame shelves. We use clock hangers because we have a billion of them, and we use them every day. So if I just hammer these out flat, you can use them on almost anything. You just screw them to whatever with a soft tapping screw. These are the flat hangers. Now we can pull the tape. Beautiful. So with the floating shelves, they're super simple to hang. All you do is lay it flat on the wall with the keyhole slots facing up, and you just mark the center of that keyhole slot. And this is the time to make sure your shelf is level. I don't have a level in my hand, but we're going to assume that's level. Now you take drill bit and drill on those marks you just made. And we're going to use these drywall anchors and screw them into the wall. These things are rated for 75 pounds each, so they hold a ton of weight. And you just screw your anchors in. Then you come back with the screws that come with the anchors and run them in. You just want to leave about 1/4 of an inch hanging out. That's what you're going to hook your shelf onto. And if your shelf isn't sitting flat, you can always adjust your screws in and out. And then you just take the same slots in the same direction and just stand them right up and then pull them down on the anchors. I don't know if that thing will hold 75 pounds, but I would say 40 comfortably would be a good number. And that's it. Those are the easiest floating shelves you can make. And just to make sure we have the right hardware included, we always send the anchors and screws with the shelves because they work and we know they work. And trying to have somebody figure it out on their own, they may not choose the right thing. So that's it. There they are.
So those are the 4 shelves we made this week.
Started with the frame shelf, which is these. We sell these for $80 a set. They're usually sold in pairs. If you don't want to do a set, you can do $40 a piece. These are very good sellers. They're getting to be really popular right now, so this would be a good time to jump on these. And
once again, you can make these in any size or any color that you choose, any kind of stain, paint, whatever you want. So lots of possibilities.
Yep. And then we did the boxed shelf, which is this one. I'm not going to touch it because it'll fall over.
It's meant to hang on the wall, not stand up by itself. But
we would sell this one for $100. Once again, you can do any size, any height, any depth, any color, completely customizable. We would sell these for $100.
And then we did the hexagon shelf, which these are very popular, and these come in a variety of sizes. You can make these bigger, you can make them smaller, and then you can attach other ones to it, and it makes like a honeycomb pattern. I've seen some that have backs in them, and then they have them attached with some that are open, and it's a real cool effect.
They also have some that have the shelf that goes across the middle.
Yep. And once again, any size, any color, any paint, lots of possibilities. These are very, very popular as well.
Yeah, they can either be sold individually or you can make them as a set also. And we left the mounting hardware up to you on that because there's a million different ways you can hang them on the wall. So, yep. And then the final ones are the floating shelves, which are the ones that we are gifting to you. These are by far one of our most popular things. We sell a ton of them every single day.
Yep.
I would highly suggest doing this or some variation of this and adding them to your store.
And they have the very simple, as we showed you, keyhole back, and you just attach them with a screw and an anchor in the wall.
Yep.
And I've put lots of heavy stuff on them, and they do just fine.
They do.
So I hope you guys like all our ideas. I hope this helps you to have some more products to sell in your store or online or at a craft show, wherever it is you sell your products.
Right.
We love showing you guys these ideas, and we cannot wait to show you some more next week. We've got some really cool ideas.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
Yes.
Yep.
So
we appreciate you guys watching, and don't forget to like our channel and subscribe.
yes.
Or like the video and subscribe either way. We appreciate you watching.
We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Bye.